Welcome to Reputation Revolution. This is the podcast where we help individuals like you to establish your voice in the marketplace, enhance the credibility of that voice, extend the reach of your story and your message, and finally, extract value from your efforts in building a meaningful personal brand that's both recognized and respected. Now, on with the show.
Alrighty, it's that time of the week again. It's the Reputation Revolution. This is episode 233, and we're recapping. I'm with my good friend Brendan Keogh.
Listeners,
how are you, Brendan?
Tremendous. Thanks, Trev.
We're recapping last week's episode, number 232, which was all around LinkedIn pages with Michelle J. Raymond. Now, I'll say from the outset that I recorded that episode naturally with Michelle, and the videos, Brendan. I got the video and I started cutting it up into snippets, and I reckon I got to six or seven snippets straight away, which means they had a lot of great soundbite stories, lots of gold there. So I've been dripping them out in advance of publishing that episode, and it's got a lot of traction. So there's a lot of interest in company pages, but as you recall, because you've listened to it, we're going to discuss it and recap it. We sort of skewed the conversation towards, if you're a thought leader or an expert or that side of things, yes, you need your LinkedIn profile, but do you need a LinkedIn company page? What were your top line thoughts, my friend?
There was a lot of gold coming out of that episode, so congrats. And Michelle was a great guest with nuggets everywhere.
Nuggets everywhere.
And I'll just take a step back if I can first, Trev, to talking about Michelle's approach to LinkedIn in general. And one thing, a key word that stood out was intent when creating content. And she talked about, you can be focused on the LinkedIn person or building your metrics and achieving those metrics, but there's a lot of metrics that aren't necessarily related. You can't measure all the key metrics. There's other things about just providing content that's useful for your community, acting with care and authenticity and vulnerability, a lot of the catchphrases that we use. But it was a good reminder, and it took me back to your chat with Ashley Faust, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry,
Ashley Foss,
about your LinkedIn self versus your whole self. I felt that early on in that interview, Michelle talked about she felt a bit empty with some of these great results she was achieving, ticking all the metrics, but it was only when she really opened up and was focused on giving and building a community, helping others, connecting people, that she found true. She really lit up, and that's what lights her up, connecting with the right people. So I found that was a really great way to lead into the company page approach. So
and Michelle's really good. We've discovered each other on LinkedIn, and circled each other on the platform for a period of time, and it was great to finally get to chat with her. I'd chatted with her on her. She does a LinkedIn Live, a regular LinkedIn Live event, and which I had the pleasure of being a guest on hers, and that's worth watching as well. So not just my episode, but the whole thing. It's I believe it's a weekly thing, and it turns into a podcast and on YouTube, and then it's live streamed on LinkedIn. So I think it's called the Do Good. The Do Good Business Show, I think. But her company is the Good Trading Company. Good Trading Co. is Michelle's business. So check Michelle out, Michelle J. Raymond, because apparently there's 1.5 million Michelle Raymonds on LinkedIn. So she's put the J in and starting to dominate in that space. So do check Michelle out, but we're just going to end last week's episode 232. So we're going to talk about company pages and just recapping some of the things that Michelle was talking about. But the biggest takeaway I got, Brendan, was if you're running a thought leader business or you're building a thought leader brand, and there are opportunities to have a company page, look for those opportunities, because it's well worth. Michelle said, look at company pages, and this is for anyone really who's got a business, look at company pages with a fresh set of eyes. So I really took that one out, and we'll go into it in a minute. I've actually a week before then have set one up because I just wanted to go through the process for when I was talking with Michelle. But I think the critical thing there is that it's how you name it and how you use it with your personal profile. What did you take out of that side of things? Because I think she's got 2 or 3 company pages as well. She's got Good Trading Co. She's got one for her book, which is a co-written, and she's got one for a show she's got with Michelle Griffin. So you've got to be creative with if you haven't got a company that you want to push, but you might have a podcast or a media property like a blog. You might have a set of, a YouTube channel, and whatever you name it, that could or the book or something else, that could be the name of your company page. So that opened my eyes because I've got a company, but I don't promote that company brand. So that's why I've never done it.
One of the practical great tips was don't name your company page yourself for a thought leader or a personal brand business, because it can seem like I've already seen that content. People can skim over it. So that was just a good little simple practical tip. Look, for the thought leaders, the personal brands that I work with, I guess the biggest barrier to this is I've got twice as much work to do. There's another thing to manage. So first and foremost, before we even get into the nuts and bolts, I loved Michelle talking about just make it manageable. I think that's so important. So it's not about replicating everything that you do or having to do a whole new thing. You're just looking at this company page as the greatest hits. You're curating your most effective or powerful posts that you then share at a different time, but that gives you double or 2 times the reach and the opportunity to get in someone's feed. So it's smart. We're repurposing, so it's not about doing brand new content. We love repurposing, Trev.
We do love repurposing.
Smart, #smarter, not harder. And so it's. I think that was the key thing. If ever I was talking to someone about it, to give the peace of mind that it's not about another doubling your workload. This is it's extra work, yes, but you don't have to sit there on the company page. It's horses for courses, but for a personal brand, that should still be your driver. But the company page is just an opportunity to showcase, to add extra weight to your personal brand. And that you talked about the logos and little things like that. It adds another level of sophistication.
Yeah, and you did mention the greatest hits, and that was a fantastic term that I'd never heard that used in that context before. Those who go back in time and bought vinyl records, which are now big again, but the greatest hits albums. But what Michelle was alluding to. And I love this because you're right. A lot of people say, what, another channel? You kidding me? More content, more strategy, all of that. But the way she approaches it is that you put a lot of stuff on your personal, that's your main driver. And whatever starts to resonate on your personal profile with your audience, that's one of your greatest hits. Then put that one across over onto your company page. And you just have to tickle along the company page. You have to put more effort into your personal one because, that's about showing up and commenting on other people and keeping that presence going. And when something resonates and people are talking about whatever it is that you've posted, then that's a good indication that, okay, well, that's one of my good things. Let's put that across over onto the company page. Now, as you said, give it a few weeks breathing space, but it gives you a second bite at the cherry. And Michelle does this for a living. This is what she does. She does people's company pages, and so she's got the rhythm down pretty pat, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and in the interview, Michelle outlined a lot of other kind of advanced opportunities for company pages of the company page going live and some other elements. But she said, I think for 99% of users, a company page will suffice. So again, nice and simple. Her driver was the thing that came through for me. She just wants to make it manageable for people. So not to set something up that's going to fail, but something that's just sustainable. So I think that's so important. And start small, just the one post a week, and build up from there. So I really like that approach. It's a sensible, practical, real world approach. So, and we can build up to that. The other part that was intriguing for a lot of my clients, or myself even, where the post anxiety, not afterwards anxiety, but publish anxiety.
Oh, might be.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's post regret.
Is that post anxiety?
It's post regret. That's what that is. But for me, yeah. To a lot of people have, and I'm living proof where I could write no problem for someone else or for my company page, but to do it for yourself is a whole level of responsibility and fear. So for some people, they're more comfortable posting on the company page. So even the lines of, oh, well, you must post on your personal page, then repost it to your company. Even that's a bit blurred, and you can play with that. There's no set rules here. So I just thought that was a really great way for people who are building their confidence on the platform to go in it's a bit anonymous almost. So it could be a great tool and a great lesson for people who are really just starting on the journey. So that was another great tip.
Yeah, and warts and all as well. Conversation it was, and Michelle did say that, look, if you're always going to get better traction and more reach on your personal one, your company pages, tend not to get as much reach, but people are checking you out before they do business with you. And if you've got a company page and that part of their due diligence in doing business with you, or before they even make contact with you, and depending on what business you're in and what you're selling, of course, but particularly in B2B, they will check you out. So it's a good, repository of all your posts and your information and what you do share. And hopefully they go and check that out. But
of your greatest hits, Trev, that's the important part.
Of your greatest hits,
and if we're bringing
killer, no filler.
That's it. If we're bringing our full self to LinkedIn, there's going to be a whole range of things that you're going to be reacting to and commenting on. But it's great to have that, just the killer, the key things relating to business that you'd like prospects to know about. So. Yeah, it's a great tool for that.
Now, there was a couple of other good tips. One in particular was, as I mentioned, Michelle does a LinkedIn Live, and LinkedIn Lives are a terrific way of, you can do it directly live into LinkedIn, but if you use a tool such as Melon or StreamYard, you go through that. Well, you have to go through one of those platforms to go onto LinkedIn, but then you can also go live to Twitter and to Facebook and to YouTube. I mean, it's crazy technology, isn't it? Like, we can sit in our home office and have this global live, television show. It's insane. I still think that's insane. I think the power is in your hands. Use it wisely. Use it for good, not evil. But I digress. I thought, wouldn't it be fun, to do those? I've done a few, but I've done a lot. Michelle does them on a regular basis, and she interviews guests, and it's a really good show. But the thing is, I would have naturally thought, do it on your personal account, because that's where you've got the juice and that's where everything's happening. And the problem with that is it does disappear. It goes down the feed. There's nowhere to I don't think you can pin it. You can't. Maybe one day you will be able to pin it. But at the end of the day, is people can't go and see all your live videos, the replays of your live videos on LinkedIn unless they go deep and search. Whereas if it's on the company page, there's a videos tab, and boom, there they are. They can go and check the whole box and dice out.
It was really interesting.
It's like a YouTube channel. It's like a YouTube channel on your LinkedIn page. So she advised to do the link, and she does it, do the LinkedIn Live on your company page, and then cross-promote, of course, through your profile. I do recall, I think she said you need a minimum of 150 followers before that. You can do that, though.
And another great insight from Michelle was that LinkedIn are really focusing on the company pages, and of course they're just called pages, but we know it as company. Well, I know it as company
page, business page, LinkedIn pages. Yeah.
As an organisation, they're really focusing on it and wanting brands to lead, to be more involved in conversations. So just to know that it's going to be something that's going to be supported, perhaps new features coming. It's just a little interesting insight that not many of us get. So that was great.
Yeah, and the evidence there was, I think she said, a while ago they used to have 2 in the LinkedIn company page section, and now in LinkedIn they've got over 30 for that. So clearly they're putting effort in, and when they put effort in, then you're going to get some good stuff coming out of that, and some new functionality hopefully, and that side of things. So it's worth keeping an eye on that. We also talked about LinkedIn newsletters and doing a company newsletter as well. So if you use it as a base, so what I took out of that when she's talking about these things, and I was taking this out, okay, so you have the page, and then you put a LinkedIn Live through it, and then you put a LinkedIn newsletter. That's when it starts getting a little bit overwhelming, but it can be a bit of a portfolio of things, and then you take that content and you can put it everywhere else across the web as well. So,
the other advantage with company pages, the other advantage, and those related items you spoke of, is the collaboration part, so that it enables greater collaboration. So if you do have a team, that's when you can really start getting some value out of it. You can have other admins to run with things, or as Michelle had with a co-author, they're able to use it both post and manage it. So that was a great another excellent reason why it's a valuable tool.
And I might go back over that, because a lot of people, as I said, I have a company called the Influence and Impact Company, but that's just my catch-all, and that's what I operate under. But I don't push that as a brand. And going back to the start of this season 6 of this podcast, we talked to you were in that conversation. We talked business brand versus personal brand, and this kind of floats into that conversation. But I've since created, only in the last couple of weeks, soft launched the Credible Authority Academy, which is my online training business, and that will become its own brand. And I've created a page for that. And just after being listening to or encouraged by what Michelle was saying, so I've gone ahead and done that. I've got 40 followers already, and I just checked it out before we came on, and I've appeared in 87 searches in the last. That page has appeared in 87 searches in the last 7 days, and they say a search is the number of times a member completed a search that includes your page name in the past 7 days. So does that mean 80? I take it that means 87 people have searched for the Credible Authority Academy on LinkedIn. So
traction.
You got to have a presence, don't you? You got to have a presence wherever you can get it, and that's given me good joy. The other thing she did talk, because it is hard to build company pages in terms of numbers, and Michelle was very much at pains, and this is her quote: "Stop collecting page followers. It's not inspiring to anybody. Start building your B2B community. Start being the go-to source for your industry." And you and I both wholly agree with that. But you still need a bit of oomph, and if you want to do lives, you need 150. So you need to get up a little bit. But LinkedIn gives you all these invitations to invite your contacts to follow your page. So
how many did you use, Trevor? How many of you used invite credits?
I don't know how many I used. I can't remember the numbers, because I think it refreshes after so many people follow it back. And Michelle was saying a lot of people who are LinkedIn experts don't like doing it because you can't put a personalized note with it. And no, you can't. You can just invite someone straight to it. But she says you get one crack at it, just have a go. There's nothing. Everyone's doing it, and if followers and people who are your connections, like what you do, they'll say yes. So I got 40. I reckon I've probably put out. I just went bang, bang, bang. I didn't go to any limit. I didn't hit a limit. So maybe, I don't know, 60 or so.
The other part that was fascinating about the difference between your personal and company page, obviously she has 4 times as many people followers on her personal page, but that's been built up over her career. So past life and what other interests, and so there's a broad variety of contacts there, whereas her company page is laser focused on her business right now. So that's the power of it's no fluff. It's purely related to what she wants to talk about. So that is incredibly powerful. Even so, while it's so you're just niching totally, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's just another channel for you, I guess. The other part is and it's only a little thing, but for people who are more visually minded, they'll like it. When in your personal profile, when in experience, and I've worked at this company, and if that company has a company page and you've named it correctly, that will come up in the on your profile, the logo, so it looks good. Otherwise, you get those little, I think Michelle called them little grey buildings. It's just a little grey box of nothing as the avatar or as the logo. I'm using quotes there. So, again, if you are a regular podcaster or YouTuber, or you've got a book or something, your experience is author at this book, then do the company page for the book, and at least you have a little logo there that looks quite nice as well, and you can build a following around the book. So I thought that the creative use of it and how it can add to your personal brand versus detract, that was my biggest takeaway. How do you make it work with you in concert with everything else you're doing? And that's both the strategy and the smarts, but then the execution of doing that.
Yeah, and Michelle spoke about synergy. That's what it was, that you're using this company page to build your personal brand. So it's just a tool to help you with that. So it supports it. It works in concert. It's not extra. It's a reaffirmation of what you're doing on your personal brand, and adding some more professional polish and credibility to what you're doing as a personal brand.
Professional polish and credibility. So let's wind this up a bit, and then we'll have some actionable tips that people can walk away with and have a think about. So look at this is recapping Michelle's and our commentary here. Look at company pages with a fresh set of eyes. It's clear that LinkedIn is putting more effort into it. There'll be probably more functionality down the track, so watch this space. So if you last looked at company pages, 6 months, a year ago, now's the time to revisit it. If you're running, and this is really around professional personal branding, you're wanting to build your professional personal brand as an expert or a thought leader in your industry or your field of endeavor, then there's some scope to use a company page, whether it's actually the name of your company or the name of your book or your podcast, or there's something else, that another business or even a digital offering you've got off the back of it, an offering you've got. So I know there's showcase pages. We didn't get into any of that, but I think you need that hook to get people in and something that you can then start focusing and building that audience around. LinkedIn give you invites to invite your own connections to follow your company page. And your favorite was greatest hits. Greatest hits. Don't reinvent the wheel. What works on your personal page, all killer, no filler, cross it over, and just tickle it along.
Choose 1985. Just the best bits.
Choose 1985. Is that the best? Is that the best year of music?
No, it's just pivotal in my upbringing. I'm just showing my age here, but
1985, mate, you are old.
And you're curating the best of the business component of your feed. So you're bringing it's your full LinkedIn self that people, as they're stalking you, that's what you want them to see. So, it's a collection of all of those things. It's got those extra features you said around videos, etc. So it can enhance the ability of people to find your best stuff. So it's another tool that's going to help you build your personal brand. Get on board.
And an actionable tips. What's some action that people can walk away and do?
Well, for me, it was about just do it. So but do it in a manageable way. So don't be thinking about it as this extra burden you've got. It's repurposing, copy and paste. She said. You talked about, do you have to change the heading? And no, just copy and paste, because the chances of people seeing the same thing twice are minuscule. And even if they did, with the algorithm somehow showed them the same thing, I've seen that. Keep scrolling. So there's no skin off your nose. There's no risk to just copying and pasting. So it's simple. Don't overthink it. Just get out there. And if it happens that you're more comfortable making posts or commenting as a business, then use the company page more in that vein. If it's going to, I loved Michelle's analogy. If it's going to get you out of the grandstand and into the game, then do that. So whatever it takes. So I really like that approach.
That was a good one. Yeah, and my one is, I just mentioned a minute ago, fresh eyes. Go back, have a look at it, do a bit of homework, buy Michelle's book, Business Gold. I better check that that's the name of it. Business Gold. Let me. You keep talking.
Oh no,
I'm trying
great.
to find the name. The name of her book is called Business Gold, but it's all about company pages. Business Gold: Build Awareness, Authority, and Advantage with LinkedIn Company Pages. Michelle is a co-author of that book, so check out Business Gold. And to learn a lot more, it's probably about the only book on company pages. So she's found a great niche there, and just go deep, and don't even go too deep. Just fresh set of eyes, and have a look and see if it's going to work for add value to your professional personal brand.
It certainly reinvigorated my approach to company pages. So yeah, I'm keen to explore that with some clients.
Nice one. All right, thanks, Brendan. We'll be recapping. Our next recap will be Greg Burgoyne from Course Creators Academy. And we're going to be talking all about online courses and how to scale your expertise and have
topical,
a greater
Trevor.
impact.
Topical for
Sorry?
you. Topical for you.
Very topical for me. Go on through it. Continue to go through it. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm going to be speaking to putting up an episode with Joyce Ong from Tax Nuggets Academy. And Joyce is doing some terrific stuff on LinkedIn. And if you want to know about radical transparency on LinkedIn and what it looks like, then Joyce is the person to follow. Tax Nuggets Academy. It was a cracker of a conversation. It wasn't really an interview, it was a conversation. Very lively, and that one will be coming up. So we've got a couple of really good episodes, Brendan, to recap in coming weeks.
I look forward to it, Trev.
Cheers.
The reputation economy is here. The world today needs more genuine, credible experts and leaders to stand up and share their experience, their wisdom, their stories and ideas. Are you in?